So I used to, at one point, I used to lead a circle of women in this meditation in New Haven when I was there. And this is a part of a tradition called Zikr, and this is remembrance of God. And what this is this very much rests on the idea that the words, and that's why it's recited in Arabic, right? That the words, all of these words are pulled out of the Quran, right? In some way or the other, they're part of either prayers in the Quran or names of God in the Quran. And that's that these words have real transformative power. That there's a power in words. And this is material power, as in it can actually influence the. And I know that this is there's a parallel tradition. That words have power, and so Zikr is about changing self-awareness by making the self filled with God, by making awareness filled with God. And this means reciting the names of God. It means reciting prayers that glorify God. And when the idea is that when the love of God fills awareness, that the love of self will start just disappearing. And so the love of God replaces love of self, because we tend to love ourselves first. And this love is not a love that's a caring love of self. This is the arrogant love of self, right? It's the ego. So, and I want to make that distinction because I think in many ways this idea can also be abused to actually make people who are marginalized and abused feel more marginalized. This is not about erasing the self, the caring, loving self. It's about erasing the ego that wants to impose itself on others, and so and replacing that with the love of God. And the idea then is that these words resonate spiritually, and that we are what we think. And so as our awareness becomes filled with God and the attributes of God, that we become then signs of God in this world, and that we become sort of these walking signs of God in the world, and that means then being God-like and acting as God would. And Zikr is again called the polish of hearts, and I've given you readings, so I'm not going to go through that, but I've given you readings that talk about the proper ways to engage in Zikr, the intentionality that needs to be there before one enters into that space.
They're all in your Dropbox.
They're all in the readings.
Islam.
So I want you to take a look at those. I gave you the readings by Scott Kugel, where he translates what that means, how one actually begins Zikr. And I'll come back to that. So I'm going to do just a little piece of the Zikr. What I'll do is, you're welcome to do it with me. You're welcome to just listen. You're welcome to be a witness to it. It's absolutely up to you, whatever you want. There's some things that I think technically you will not be able to do. There'll be some longer Arabic phraseology that I just feel it'll be hard to but I put some things up here that I will point to when I'm doing it that you might be able to take to be a part of if you wish. But this is absolutely up to you. I'm happy to just do it. We would do this in congregation. This is a congregational dhikr. This happens weekly, usually on Thursdays or Saturdays. Those days have special significance as days that the Prophet used to do his remembrances with his congregation. And so we would do this in congregation. So this is meant to be a congregational dhikr, and it's always before sunset, so that everyone can pray the sunset prayer together at the end. So first, I would perform the intention, seeking the pleasure of God, the Most High. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله